The federal eviction moratorium has ended. Now what do I do? Hey everybody, it's Shamika. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos and hit the notification bell so that you can be updated for my newest and latest content. All right, everybody. So the federal eviction moratorium has ended as of July 31st. That means we are no longer covered under our 120-day eviction moratorium that was extended to all of us through the CARES Act. If you are not aware or don't understand what an eviction moratorium is, it's just a fancy way of stating that some individuals signed a document stating that nobody anywhere, any landlord, whether it's commercial or rental property, can evict you due to not being able to pay your rent or because you were affected due to something from the pandemic. Okay. Now, if you have issues with domestic violence, if there's some type of criminal activity, or if you were already behind on your rent before this moratorium went into place, you are not covered. You can be evicted at any time, okay? Now, what happens now that the eviction moratorium has ended, the federal one, if you have been paying attention, you'll notice that your governor has been issuing executive orders, usually on a 30-day basis, extending the moratorium that they set statewide. In this video, I'm going to go through all the 50 states just to let you know what is listed for your state, to tell you if you are covered or if you should be looking out for your governor to extend every month. So if you are interested in finding out what your governor has to say, you can go to your state's website, your state's government website. I would tell you it would be just easier to follow your governor on social media, whether that be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. That way that you can see exactly when they sign, because someone from their office is going to post it immediately. I would also tell you to get in the habit of following your local county, local government offices as well, because with all of the stuff going on with the pandemic, you don't know if you got to go to court, if you can't go to court, if you can go get a driver's license, if you can go to the Social Security office, you can go to the hospital, you don't know. So the only way to know versus calling and sitting on hold, nobody wants to do that. Just go to their social media. They don't promote it enough, but I'm telling you that is the best way to get the most accurate information of, with what's going on in your local city, county, government, as well as your governor and your state. Okay, so going through the list here, like I said, I'm going to go through the 50 states. And again, if your moratorium has expired, that doesn't mean that you are necessarily, your state is not covered. It just means that this article could be old. And you should go to the social media of your governor just to see if it has been extended. All right. So let's start with Alabama. Alabama's moratorium ended on June 1st, 2020. I am sure they probably did an extension. If not, again, please go to the local or your county or your state's social media and find out. Alaska, the moratorium ended on July 1st. I would tell you to go and check the social media to update that. Arizona, it says the executive order that was signed is expected to continue through October 31st. So if you want to see if any of that has changed, I would also tell you to go and check that out. But as it is, and let me see the date of this article so I can make sure this is most accurate. Yeah, so this was just done a week ago. So things change, but I will tell you that we're just going to go with this for now. And if you want to know more, actually go to social media. I'm just going to keep stressing that, okay? Arkansas states that they have not issued a moratorium. So I guess Arkansas is not under a moratorium. So that means if you're not under moratorium, you can be served by a process server and or you can be served by the sheriff. That means that your county clerk of court can now allow their workers to issue writs of possessions, and writs of possessions is just a fancy way of saying the landlord is now wanting to resume or take their property back by asking you to leave. So in other words, it's a fancy way of saying that's going to allow them to now issue eviction notices. So if you're not covered by federal, which none of us are because it ended on July 31st, then, and if you're not covered by your local governor, or excuse me, your state's governor, it is not given a state moratorium, then you are one of the individuals that could be getting served if you have no coverage. All right, California says that their moratorium is extended through September 2020. Colorado states that it says the governor has issued an executive order that states landlords cannot penalize for non-payment from May 20th through August 11th, 2020. And it says landlords must also give 30 days of eviction notice, okay? It says in Denver, there is an indefinite hold on eviction. So that's two different things, all right? So you have coverage through August 11th if you live in any other part of Colorado. But on top of that, they also have to give you a 30-day eviction notice. Connecticut, it says they are, the governor announced through an executive order that he is halting evictions through August 25th, 2020. Delaware, it says Governor Carey announced a moratorium on evictions and residential foreclosures during the state of emergency. So to me, that's a fancy way of saying it probably ended when the CARES Act ended. If it's not saying that, then it could be that they're stating that foreclosures are going to be halted until the pandemic is over. If you are not certain, I would definitely call my county's clerk of court so that you can find out exactly what that means if you're covered or if you're not covered. All right, Florida says that it'll be halted until August 1st. This is actually extended now to September 1st, so that is incorrect here. It says that there is no statewide eviction moratorium for the state of Georgia. It did say that Mayor Bottoms of Atlanta issued an executive order on March 17th imposing a 60-day moratorium on residential evictions. So that's completely old and outdated. That actually would have took somebody up until June. So you guys definitely want to find out, if you're in Atlanta, if Mayor Bottoms actually extended more coverage to you guys in your local area. But as the state goes, for every other place in Georgia, there is no eviction coverage. Hawaii says their moratorium was there was a moratorium through July 31st. I would tell you guys to go check that. I'm sure that's been updated by now. Idaho, it says that the governor has not issued a moratorium. So looks like people can get evicted in Idaho. Illinois, it says that the residential evictions, it was extended through August 22nd, 2020. So you guys still have time. I'm sure this will probably be extended as well. I don't understand why it's not from the 1st to the end of the month. That must be something that your county does. It's kind of weird, but hey, I'm sure that's probably going to get extended though. For Indiana, it states that there was an executive order preventing evictions or foreclosures through July 31st. I also believe that Indiana has extended that probably, I'm hoping to on September. So again, I stress that you guys go and find that out for sure. Call your local clerk of court, or you can follow your local and state government officials on social media. Iowa, it says the temporary suspension, of evictions has been lifted in Iowa. So that means that you guys can be evicted in Iowa. Kansas, it states that there was a moratorium until May 1st. It says it has not been extended. However, utility companies are required to offer payment plans. So they will allow you to be evicted, but they will not let you get your electric turned off. That makes absolutely no sense, but at least they're trying to do something. All right, let's go to Kentucky. It says the governor signed an executive order suspending residential evictions. This order extends until the national emergency is declared over. So that is a lot clearer than the other one other state. I believe that state was Arkansas. So this means that the governor in Kentucky is extending the eviction moratorium until the pandemic has ended. Okay, so that's pretty freaking awesome. All right, Louisiana. It says the foreclosures and evictions have been extended until April 13th, and it said it was ended on April 13th. Excuse me. It says the order has not been extended. So if it's not been extended, I will tell you to go and follow up to see if that has changed. Maine, it says Governor Mills issued an executive order stating that the eviction moratorium will continue until 30 days after the state of emergency is suspended. So that means that, again, once the pandemic has ended, the president has removed this national disaster declaration. Governor Mills in Maine is actually giving you an additional 30 days. Sorry to the landlords, but just giving the renters an additional 30 days of comfort before you even have to worry about this process even starting. Maryland, it states that the governor has extended the emergency order prohibiting certain kinds of residential evictions through the duration of the state of emergency declaration. So again, just like Maine, this is another governor who is just extending this all in one instead of doing this every month to extend this executive order until the pandemic is declared over. Massachusetts, it says the moratorium has been extended and through October 17th, 2020. That's pretty awesome. It also says no utility shuts off until the emergency until the state of emergency is lifted. So that's great. So that's no evictions and no utility shut off. Michigan states that the executive order that was issued on April 17th, halting evictions, ended on July 15th, 2020. And it says evictions in the city of Detroit are suspended through August 15th, 2020. I would tell everyone who does not live in Detroit to follow your local and state officials to see if that has changed, or call your local county clerk to see if that has been extended, okay? Minnesota, it says that the order has been extended through August 12, 2020. Mississippi, it says the suspension expires on June 1st, which halted evictions. I would also stress that you call or contact someone to see if that has been extended. Missouri, it says there is no statewide eviction moratorium in place. However, the Supreme Court suspended all in-person proceedings for non-emergency cases. So, in other words, they can get mad and do the paperwork, but they can't turn it in, and they can't go to court to defend the reason that they want you evicted because they're not having in-person hearings. It's something that's kind of neat and funny that they did. It can be quite aggravating also if I was a landlord. Wow, so Missouri, you can't get evicted just because individuals are not able to go to court. So I guess maybe if your area there was less COVID effect, maybe you could go to court and find out that you can get evicted because there's no statewide ban. Doesn't make any sense, but I would definitely check with Missouri to see if any of that has changed. You know, this was, like I said, just a week ago, but things change all the time. All right, Montana. It says Governor Bullock issued an order stating that those who meet the criteria cannot face evictions or shut off. And it also says it prevents residential foreclosures because of non-payment. So that's pretty cool. Nebraska, we're almost there, guys. Governor Ricketts stated that he issued an order extending the moratorium until May 31st, but it has not been extended. So I would definitely go and follow up to see if anything's changed. Nevada, it says There was a statewide eviction moratorium. It will phase out between July 31st and August 31st, okay? New Hampshire, the executive order for evictions expired on July 1st. I would definitely go and see if that has changed. New Jersey, they issued an executive order on March 19th, and it doesn't state that it has, it states that it ends at the end of the state of emergency. So once the disaster declaration has gone away and we're back to normal, the pandemic's gone, that's when you can start doing evictions in New Jersey. New Mexico, it says this was issued on the 24th, and it is also stating that it is set to end once the state of emergency has ended. New York, their residential evictions ended on March 22nd. And if you guys have been paying attention to anything in the news, you know how crazy it is in New York. And I really, really feel sorry for you guys. But I do have a treat in another video to tell you how to go and find money to help you pay for this back rent. All right. So it says the eviction moratorium has been extended through a state of emergency. So that is great. That doesn't mean that people can't issue eviction request, but it is stating that the moratorium has been extended. So that's great to know. North Carolina, eviction proceedings have resumed. So you know that means they can definitely put you out in North Carolina. North Dakota, it says eviction proceedings have resumed. In Iowa, it states that the governor's issued a request for commercial landlords to suspend rent payments for commercial tenants, as well as a moratorium on evictions for commercial tenants for 90 days. This is all for businesses, not consumers. I just want you guys to take note of that, because I'm always talking about why it's so important to have a business. They just get treated so much better than average individuals. The order also includes protections against commercial foreclosures. I see nothing about residential. It says the Supreme Court asked the municipal courts to stop processing residential evictions and foreclosure proceedings, but there is no official policy in place, right? So you know what that means. They could put you out in Ohio. Oklahoma, they have resumed evictions. Oregon, the moratorium has been extended through September 30th, 2020. Pennsylvania, eviction proceedings cannot begin until April 31st, 2020. Rhode Island, it says eviction proceedings resumed June 1st. South Carolina, eviction proceedings resumed May 15th. South Dakota, the governor stated that she would not consider a moratorium for evictions or foreclosures. It says, but small businesses can apply for aid through the state. Weird. Tennessee, evictions proceedings resumed as of June 4th, and utility shutoffs have been suspended throughout the state of emergency. So at least you'll be able to have AC for the little time you have left before you're going to be evicted. Texas, it says that the eviction proceedings, unless prohibited by local order, resumed in May, or May 18th, actually. Utah, it says the governor issued a moratorium on residential evictions in very limited circumstances through May 15th. It says the order was not extended and eviction proceedings have resumed. Vermont, they have halted evictions until the state of emergency is lifted. Virginia, eviction proceedings resumed on June 28th, but they have did a halt on utility shutoffs until August 31st. Woo! Washington, it says that the moratorium has been extended and expanded until August 1st. So I definitely would tell you guys to go and check. I'm sure that's probably been extended again through an executive order. DC, it says the Supreme Court has suspended evictions of all tenants and utility shutoffs. Landlords may not file eviction complaints until 60 days after this state of emergency has been lifted. Now that's the way to do it, DC. West Virginia, eviction proceedings have resumed on May 15th. Wisconsin, they have eviction proceedings have resumed, but a freeze on utility shutoffs remain in place. And last but not least, Wyoming, and evictions proceedings have resumed. So if you learn nothing else, you can see that there is a big difference in how your state is handled. That depends heavily on your governor, and that depends heavily on who you guys vote for. So if you do not like how this was handled by your governor, I just want to throw that out there. It will be time to vote. Hopefully you guys are registered voters. Go out there and vote and make your voice heard. If you don't agree with how this is handled, to me this type of stuff shows me what a person is made of, because you see how they treat you in times of need. So I'm going to put the link to this below so that you can keep up. This is supposedly going to be updated weekly, this website. So I hope I helped you guys find something. And again, check out my other videos so that I can show you how to get money to pay your rent if you're behind. All right. So again, thank you guys for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell for any new content. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.